Have you ever just been kind of minding your own business, walking around a guitar show or a guitar store, not really thinking about buying anything with any level of seriousness, when suddenly, out of your peripheral vision, you notice a guitar that's just so different, so packed full of mojo, that you have to take it off the wall for whatever reason and give it a strum? Well, you probably have experienced that. I've experienced it a few times over the years, and a few weeks ago at the Guitar Summit in Mannheim, it happened again. And specifically with this guitar. This is the 2024 PJD Guitars Carey Apprentice Standard in a beautiful one-off Silverburst finish with a single P90 pickup. And it's an amazing looking, pared back, stripped down rock and roll machine that to me is kind of half Les Paul Junior and half Fender Esquire. Now that's a fantastic mix for me because I love both of those models of guitar. And what I want to do in this video is tell you a bit more about this instrument. I haven't bought it yet, just so you know that. The folks at PJD have lent it to me to make this video, and in this video I'm going to tell you about the specs and the features of this guitar. Then I'll play it for you in as many different musical styles as I can manage with this single pickup and this single volume control. We don't even have a tone knob today. How limited is it going to be? And afterwards I will give you a few more opinions on this guitar, and you can probably notice already that I'm going to say many positive things about this guitar, but there might be one or two negatives as well, so stick around for those opinions too. Timestamps to everything, the playing, the opinions, the specs and the features are going to be down there in the description and in the comments, so you can skip through to the part of the video that you'd most like to see. And a quick tip, I do try this guitar with a fuzz pedal and it sounds huge, so skip to that if you want to hear fuzzy tones with this guitar. But yeah, let me tell you first about the specs and features. Now this is the latest 2024 model of the Carey Apprentice Standard. PJD do tend to change their guitars and their specs quite often, so make sure that you check if you're looking at a guitar in a store or online or something that you get the specs that you specifically want. But this most recent version is really as stripped back and as simple and as easy to play as you can imagine. We've got a slab, a beachy body here, so it's going to be nice and lightweight. This specific guitar is a smidgen under 7 pounds or about 3.1 kilograms. And we've got this lovely Silverburst finish here too, with an open pore satin nitro finish. Just look at that beautiful application of the finish there. You can probably see the grain as well if I give you some nice B-roll shots as well. String through body here, and you can see that we've got a bolt-on neck too. Now we've got a chamfer or a contour on the front as well, a nice arm cut there, so this should be very comfortable to play either standing up with a strap or sitting down as well. And we've got that single P90 and volume control too. Now this is a PJD Parkins Cream P90, and we've got a Goto fixed bridge here. It kind of reminds me a bit of a modern Fender Telecaster or Esquire sort of bridge, and because we've got the one pickup and a volume control, well, we're also in Esquire territory for me there as well, and the bolt-on neck adds to that feel too. We're half Gibson, half Fender at this point, and that kind of continues as we go up to the neck as well. We've got a beautiful nitro finished maple neck here, really sleek and slinky feeling it is too, with a nice medium C profile neck, which I think is going to fit pretty much any hand. I love the PJD neck profile, by the way. All of the PJD guitars that I've played have a very similar neck profile, and it just works really well for me. We have a Fender approved 25.5-inch scale length on this guitar, 22 medium frets to be specific. They're Jescar 55090 frets, and we have a 10-inch fingerboard radius, so it's a nice modern feeling guitar without being too flat in terms of the fingerboard radius. We also have a 42mm bone nut here, and if I move us up to the headstock, well, if you're a fan of the Fender Telecaster, it doesn't look too dissimilar now, does it? We also have 6-in-line Goto split post vintage SD91 tuners on this guitar. So this is the 2024 PJD Guitars Carey Apprentice Standard in this one-off Silverburst finish that you can order. This specific guitar will currently set you back about 899 Great British pounds. It's made in the UK, it's made in York, England to be precise. It comes with a great quality gig bag too, and PJD are also plecking these guitars from this moment on. So for that money, I think it's exceptional value, and I don't think that you can find a 100% made in England guitar for cheaper at this current time. Prove me wrong in the comments if you know of somewhere else where you can, but I don't think so. So you seem to get an awful lot for your money with this guitar, But how good is it and how versatile is it? I mean, we've got one P90 pickup here and a volume control. That's it. Can it play all the musical genres that I normally would in my videos? That's what we're about to find out. Now, my rig for today will be my Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200 head. We'll use a few different channels on the amplifier, along with a handful of my favorite pedals to really coax as many different tones and musical genres out of the Carey. Once again, timestamps to everything down in the description and the comments if you need to skip through to the genres that best suit your style of playing and your music taste. But stick around for the end, where I'm going to give you my full and thorough opinions on this guitar. Let's play it now though, and we'll speak in a bit more detail about it afterwards. Okay then, so that was the PJD Guitars Carey Apprentice Standard in this stunning Silverburst finish, and I hope you enjoyed the playing and the tones. And I think you've probably now realised that despite us just having a single P90 pickup and a volume controller at our disposal today, this guitar is indeed incredibly versatile, and it can probably do way more than many players would think when they first set eyes upon it. But as usual, I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. Let me know what you thought of this guitar, and let me know whether you think you'd be able to get on with a guitar and you'd have enough versatility at your fingertips when playing a gig if you just had a single pickup and a single volume control. Is that enough, or do you need a neck pickup? Do you need tone controls? Let me know your thoughts as ever in the comments, and I look forward to getting a bit of a discussion going. But what I'm going to do now is give you a few more thoughts and opinions about this guitar, because I've had it at home now for a couple of weeks playing it through my own rig, and I have quite a lot to say about it. But we'll start with my first impressions of the guitar. I think I alluded to that at the start of the video, that when I saw this guitar on a stand at the Guitar Summit, I just had to go up to it, touch it, play it, take it in, and smell it too, because PJD guitars always smell great, and it's a fantastic looking thing. I mean, the Silverburst finish has been done wonderfully. It goes so well with that rosewood fingerboard. It just caught me straight away. I was just a tiny bit worried at first, because I thought one P90 and one volume control, is that going to be enough? But my fears turned out to be unfounded. The other slightly unfortunate thing was the fact that somebody had unfortunately given this guitar a little bit of a ding at the Guitar Summit, but there you go, it's a relic now, and it will continue to relic as it gets older, because it's got this lovely open pore satin nitro finish. A beautiful guitar to behold in every single way, and the gig bag that came with it is fantastic quality too. I'd have no questions, no problems at all throwing that in a van and taking this guitar to a show. And this being a PJD standard model, well, there were two things that I knew I would get, and I wasn't disappointed. The first was this fantastic neck profile that I know and love from so many other PJD guitars that I've tried over the years. And the second was the weight. We've got this lightweight Abici body here, and this guitar weighs in at 6 pounds 14 ounces, so a smidgen under 7 pounds, which is about 3.12 kilograms. So a really nice lightweight, if not super light, but it's going to be fantastically comfortable in terms of standing and playing long gigs with it. And it feels great, and it's perfectly balanced whether you're using a strap and standing up, or whether you're sat down like I was for the playing part of this video. So fantastic first impressions with this guitar, and once I got it home and started to play it, well, I checked out the build quality and the hardware, and as usual with PJD, immaculate, no questions, no issues there. The Goto hardware does its job fantastically well. The PJD pickup and the electronics, all top quality, all top-notch stuff. The finish, like I've said a couple of times now, has been immaculately applied. It looks wonderful, it feels great, and the guitar has been set up fantastically well too. PJD is now plecking their standard series, and presumably their more expensive custom series guitars too, and well, the frets on this one are great, the action, the intonation, the bone nut is doing its job, no problems whatsoever, top-notch all round. Then I had to give it a play straight away. I couldn't resist, so I started with a bit of an unplugged strum, and well, it's got a lovely, loud, chimey acoustic tone to it, which is a great sign for when you're going to plug in as well. Shows that you've got good woods in your hands, I think, too. When I plugged in as well, the playability just continued where I've left off with previous PJD guitars. I love the PJD neck profile. That's why I bought the St. John Standard, which I had on the channel about a year or so ago now, and it's got the same medium C profile as this guitar with this beautiful nitro finish. Just feels like home for me, so it's a fantastic profile for me to get my hands round. I love the fact that we've got a rosewood board on this guitar as well. Doesn't really affect the playability too much, or does it? But it's a psychological thing for me. I love having a rosewood fingerboard under my fingers. Now the body on this guitar is very much Les Paul Junior in terms of shape, but a bit kind of modern, because we've got this arm contour here, and we've got this bolt-on neck and great upper fret access there as well. So super comfortable to play. And again, this being a PJD, I knew what I was getting in that department. So it's basically 10 out of 10 in the playability stakes for me. And the next thing to look at is possibly the most crucial and contentious when it comes to this specific guitar, and that's those sounds. Now we have a single PJD Parkins Cream P90 here and a volume control, and the question that I had when going into making this video was, how versatile can this guitar really be? And the answer, it turns out, is massively. I can play pretty much any genre of music that I want to on this guitar and have optimum results, and I would challenge you not to be able to do the same. Now of course I've got guitars that are set out better to do heavier genres, for example. You know, guitars with active humbuckers and stuff like that will handle dark metal and down-tuned dirgy stuff better than a P90 will, and with less noise too. But you could play pretty much anything with this guitar and this pickup, and especially if you learn to use the volume control a little bit to your advantage. That's something I've been guilty of not doing in the many years I've been playing, but more recently I've been getting into Fuzz, and I've realized that rolling back the volume control can work wonders for your tone, and it does does with this pickup as well. Now I started playing on the clean channel of the amp with just a bit of reverb, and it was obvious straight away that there's plenty of grunt and output in this Parkins Cream P90. It does those lovely thick mid-pushed P90 honky sort of tones, but it's great for sparkly, twangy, chimey sort of tones as well. Great for the jangly indie that I really like to play too. And if I rolled off that volume control just a tiny bit down to about 9 or 8, well, it just took a little bit of the biting brittleness off the top end, and it was perfect for strummed arpeggios, for jazzier sort of stuff, and for indie and folk and strumming as well. And it gave it more of an acoustic tone as well. So it's a very, very versatile pickup for clean tones. When I added the Greer light speed for a bit of grit, well, we got some fantastic indie rock sounds, and I could play that sound forever. This pickup's perfect for that, nice and biting and aggressive without being too ice picky on the top end, really fat sounding too. And again, roll off the volume just a tiny bit to make it nice and smooth as well. I did find that I preferred the sound of the light speed than I did the crunch channel of the amp with this guitar. For classic rock sounds, for AC/DC sorts of tones, I've given you a few examples of each just so you can hear them, but this pickup really makes the crunch channel grunt a little bit heavier than I would actually want it to for those sorts of tones. So I used the light speed with pretty much everything set to about 1 o'clock with the frequency knob rolled back just a little bit, and that worked wonders for those sorts of styles. Now P90s grunt fantastically well for higher gain stuff, and when we went to the lead channel of the amp, well, we found that as well. This is a fantastic guitar for punk rock, for harder rock stuff, for alternative rock as well. It just works for so many of those different things because you have a beautiful booming clarity, a really fat sound, but it's crisp and clear, and you hear every one of those 6 strings when you strum a big chord as well. So it's wonderful for those styles of music as well. And when I went down to drop D and I plugged in the Revv G3, well, we got that P90 sort of response. Super noisy, of course, but that's part of the fun, and really aggressive biting tones too. I actually find P90s to be amazing pickups for metal because they have so much clarity, and if you're playing one with a humbucker at the same time and you've got 2 guitars going on, well, they're a great contrast too. So I really, really like this guitar for the higher gain stuff as well. And often in these videos I don't get past those tones, but I was having so much fun playing this guitar I had to plug in a couple of my favorites as well. So I plugged in my ProCo Rat, and we had some amazing 80s glam rock and hair metal sort of tones, really, really nice sounding stuff. And then I plugged in my JHS Bender tone bender fuzz pedal, and we got some wonderful woolly fuzzy tones out of this guitar as well. And again, rolling off that volume control, beautiful, sparkly, pushed clean, fuzzy sort of tones abounded. A wonderful, wonderful sound. I think I threw in a couple of Source Audio Collider sort of ambient delay and reverb tones too, and this pickup just works really nicely for that as well. You don't need a neck pickup, you absolutely don't. Of course a neck pickup is going to give you a response that you might not get with this guitar, but when you're playing this, did I miss it at all? No. Absolutely not. And in terms of the sounds, well, it gave me everything I wanted and probably quite a bit more. So full marks again in the tonal department. So if you've been watching this video up to this point and you kind of like what you've seen, and who wouldn't looking at this thing, but you sort of want to know what else is out there, well, I would first suggest take a look at the rest of the PJD range. Now, if you want a similar sort of Carey Apprentice Standard but with a different pickup or a different finish or roasted maple instead of rosewood, well, you can get it. They'll do as many custom options as you want. You can also move up to their other models or their different ranges. If you wanted to have an offset version of this, for example, you could. They make the St. John. If you want a different offset style, they do the Valhalla now, which is fantastic too. And they do the Woodford, which is their sort of S-type guitar as well. So there are many different options with PJD if you like this sort of flair and you want to support this company. Now, the other obvious choice is, of course, going to be Gibson. For this body shape, the Les Paul Junior is going to be the way to go. For about £900 or just around the $1,000 or euro price point, you might get lucky and get a used Gibson Les Paul Junior, and that will come with the added bonus of a tone knob as well, so that's kind of cool too if you want that. Or you could go for a newer Epiphone model for a bit cheaper. There are a bunch of different options there, so check out what you can find. There are a few slightly quirkier choices as well. For example, Epiphone currently make their Jared James Nichols signature Les Paul Junior style guitars, and they come with Seymour Duncan pickups in them and are fantastic beasts to play as well. If you're super on a budget and you want to try something like this, well, go for something like the Harley Benton SC Junior. That'll cost about 166 euros at time of filming, so you could buy about 5 or 6 of them for the price of one of these. Not that you'd probably want to. I have an SC Junior myself. Plenty of videos of that guitar elsewhere on my channel, and there's some magic in that specific one, so check that out as well. And if you're after this sort of an experience on a budget, well, that's a great place to start too. Now, if you are looking at getting a guitar like this but you want the Fender scale length, well, you'll need an Esquire, be that Fender or Esquire. Plenty of models out there, most of them used. Check out your sites and dealers near you, and hopefully you'll find one. And if you want some even more out-of-the-box choices, well, try something like a used PRS SE1 or an Epiphone Coronet or something like that. But this video has been about the PJD Carey Apprentice Standard, and my conclusion on this guitar is, well, I'm 100% sold on it. Like I said a bit earlier in the video, PJD lent me this guitar just to make this video, but are they getting it back? I can't answer that question at this point in time. But it ticks all of the boxes that I would personally need. First off, it looks fantastic. I love the Silverburst finish and I love the rosewood board. They work so well for me, they catch my eye every time, and that's half of the battle won. In terms of the playability, top notch. I love the setup, I love the feel of this neck, I love the nitro finish. It's such a comfy guitar for me to play. The weight is great, the sounds are great. I'm a huge P90 pickup fanboy anyway, and I love this one, and I love the versatility of it. I love the fact that I don't need a neck pickup on this guitar and I don't need a tone control. It just makes me play and enjoy the music. So full marks in that regard. Check out a PJD guitar if you ever get the chance, and if you don't have the chance because there's no dealers anywhere near you, well, plenty more videos about PJD stuff on my channel at the playlist there. And if you've got any more questions about this guitar or PJD, well, let me know down there in the comments and I shall do my best as ever to answer you to the fullest. But that's been it for today's video. I've been Rich and this has been the PJD Carey Apprentice Standard, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.